friend was a mess. The left-hand path had become limp and oddly conventional. Now, I saw others who seemed to have seen and done some of the things I was doing, but as usual, there was still something off. Now, I'm going to sidetrack a bit, because all along my journey in the occult, I studied law. Not law school kind of law, that's procedure of law. I'm talking about philosophy of law, maxims of law, jurisdiction and jurisprudence, authority, sovereignty, contract. I learned how to tell when someone doesn't know what they're talking about, because I had to learn how to make sure I knew what I was talking about. And even when I lived in Mexico and had to get a hold on Spanish, that was the first time life taught me that I didn't really know English as well as I thought I had. Studying law put a nail in that coffin. When I got in there, I realized I never actually knew English. I spent most of my life babbling with other slaves who had been taught slave language. So I had to learn for real. And once I did, my entire comprehension of the subject changed. And that's the same thing that happened with the occult. The occult in general taught me that I didn't know. Metaphysics on the left-hand path taught me that I didn't have a hold on self. So I got one. And this is where I saw what was wrong. They had missed the subtlety of darkness. It had been all but forgotten. I say but forgotten because, well, I'm here. The subtlety of darkness. New Age doctrine with subtle human agreements was given a dark spin or angle. Saying the word shadow, chaos, or subconscious mind was enough to qualify as left-hand path. In fact, darkness amounted to simply a negative portrayal, and it lost its context with the absence of light, or as the precursor of light, in fact. Shadow work had become popular with not only the mainstream, but the occultists as well now, both dragging along, once again, subtle agreements to humanity. Most of them, I got in the habit of calling left-hand light workers. Now, the panic pretenders, this was a whole nother class on its own. They'd taken the information they gained from panic, peeked into the door, and assumed that was the work. Took on the aesthetic of panic. If I act like panic, I've done it. If I say the things panic has said, I've done it. But then if you question them, it was always the same response. All things are one thing. And then they just call you Hotep. It was a whole new religion these niggas had made up. They've also decided that debating is now off the table. You're not going to exchange the ideas anymore. And you know what? Not needing to debate is great to open the door. You know, faking it till you make it is great to open the door. But the point of the work isn't just to open the door. You gotta go in. You gotta go inside the door. They had missed the subtlety of darkness. Their defenses of their ideas were to repeat New Age axioms. Stuff that the mainstream parades around. I'm all things. Everything is one. I'm everything. Self-deification had been diminished to concepts of being superhuman, as if being a stronger character is the solution to getting out of a game you shouldn't have been playing to begin with. What were once pillars of metaphysical knowledge were now hollow affirmations to human personalities. The old dichotomous framework from religion that people tried to get away from with God and the devil had been replaced with higher and lower self, or conscious and subconscious mind. Just like philosophy of mind, which was becoming more and more materialistic by conflating the brain to be the mind, occultists were doing it now too. And quantum physics was creeping in along all those little New Age axioms. It's the same fallacy of being superhuman. It's a deeper agreement to the physical world. Of course the physical world is a hologram. It's an illusion. Now what part of the hologram isn't an illusion? Tell me the nature of that. It's more than just being surprised that you're not your body anymore. That's basic. And I would constantly hear things like, all things are energy. All is mind. Everything is light. What do all of those have in common? They all make the claim that all things are one thing, then make the error of naming that one thing, and then their attention is redirected to the name and understanding the name and overlooking the nature of one itself. They throw the metaphysics right out the window before they even examine it. It's subtlety. Subtlety. The subtlety of self doesn't concern itself with what others think of you or just the emotional response you may have, be it positive or negative. The subtlety of self will judge you by why you had whatever response. That's the purity of heart thing. The places in yourself where you can admit to not knowing is where the parts of you that know will place the knowledge you're to learn. It seems like some people got so caught up in detaching from the weight of the opinions of others or their emotional trauma. They got so caught up in being able to say, I don't have to listen to you. Whatever you're saying is wrong because I don't already agree with it. I make my own world. They got so caught up in the pride. I know I've tasted it too. But I had to be honest with myself. Especially when I would snap. Especially when I felt like I was being attacked. I had to be honest with myself. No one else was obligated to. All these affirmations floating around, making sure your human personality feels comfortable. That's not the left-hand path. I'm not saying you gotta feel like shit your entire life. Most certainly you don't. What do you think you is? When you're saying this happened to me, that happened to me, what is me? What is me in all of that? Oh, go back to saying, oh, it's everything. I'm everything. No, there's no detail in that. The devil's in the details. There's no detail in that. It's hollow. It sounds like something a Christian would say. God is love and God is in me, so I'm everything because God is everything and God is love. No one seems to have any capacity anymore to navigate controversy. More especially not outside themselves. They just want to, oh, no, I'm my own universe. Nothing affects me. I'm good. Just run away from anything they don't actually like without even examining what's got them running in the first place. They haven't developed any faculty for navigating controversy. And if you can't navigate it outside yourself, I'm certain you can't navigate it within yourself. Do you think the subtle aspects of the self that aren't trying to stop being human are just going to sit back? No, they're going to push back. And you got to be ready to push back to them. You got to be able to see what that is. You can't just say, oh, this is pushing back against me. It must be wrong. In the absence of the weak, strength has no value. So if everybody's strong and nobody's weak, then what value is strength? We ain't all the same. And so you gotta rise above and leave behind other things. You need to be able to navigate controversy. Otherwise, you'll be weak. Telling yourself you're strong, and if everybody's just telling themselves they're strong, what value does strength have? You gotta have a little more nuance than that. It's one thing to be confident in yourself. It's another to be lying to yourself. And if you can't discern the difference between the two, what good is telling yourself you know the truth?